What's up guys, Rainy here. Welcome to episode 3 of the Terraria Let's Play. I know it's been a little bit. Hopefully you caught my last video with a slight channel update. I've been sick, as you can probably hear. It's a little rough to talk sometimes, but I'm trying my best to push out videos as much as I possibly can while I try to recover to the best of my ability. So video quality will be a little lackluster, but it's not like I am not trying to make good content for you guys. It's just sometimes you might hear my voice get softer, or you can hear that it's just hard for me to breathe. That's just how it is when you get a brutal cold out of nowhere from your family. But this episode, a lot happens, so hopefully you guys really enjoy it. It was a blast to play. Some things I didn't end up recording because I would miss them. Either I wasn't feeling well and just spaced it, or they were things like digging, thousands and thousands of blocks straight down, and nothing really happened within those moments. So I just left it out of the video. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in a second. Hey there, you ever think to yourself, what can I do to help this really awesome YouTuber I just found? Just walk on right over here and click the subscribe button. It would mean a lot. Thanks. Now enjoy your video. So before I even started recording for this session, I had plans to just kind of use my new tools from last episode to dig myself a elevator down to the underworld so that I could fight the wall of flesh, hopefully, and grind out some of the mobs down there. I wasn't actually sure until this recording session how Terraria worked. So I found out later on that once you kill the wall of flesh, you receive the mace, the poner or whatever it's called, which then allows you to break demonic altars to cleanse your world, and that blesses your world with hard mode ores. And once you kill the wall of flesh, you start hard mode in your world. So that was a big goal of mine headed into this, because I had already pretty much gotten all the ores that I could out of classic mode, and it was time for me to move on to the next part. So I was trying to dig the elevator, and while digging the elevator, I get a couple of random events, as you'll see here at the start of the video. First one being slime rain. Now the reason I decided to teleport home and deal with the slime rain was I wanted to grind out the gel for torches, bonfires, and to fight the king slime, because he had kind of messed me up the few times I had attempted him in the past. So it was a big goal of mine to seek my revenge. While I was doing the slime rain, however, I guess he's like the Eye of Cthulhu from the previous episode, where it has natural occurring requirements to just randomly spawn into your world, which I assume has something to do with the slime rain, with my armor that I have now, and with the amount of health that I have. So I ended up getting a random spawn, which wasn't great because I wasn't prepared at all, and he ended up taking me out yet again, which was whatever. I wasn't necessarily all in this session. I was kind of in and out, sleeping every few hours because I was just so exhausted mentally and physically. So maybe if I was 100%, I could have, gamed out on him, but he took my number this time, and that was another dub in the book for King Slime, but I was going to get mine eventually, no doubt. Now, the next random event that I got was a Goblin army invasion. So what's unfortunate about this one was the amount of footage that I have for you guys is very minimal, like towards the end, because I was actually AFK in like a little box, just waiting, at my computer. Not necessarily waiting for anything, I was just kind of AFK, talking to people, watching TikTok, whatever. So I was not paying attention at all, and when I randomly get back on, to continue digging out my elevator, I wasn't recording, but all of a sudden all these goblins were all over me. NPCs were taking out a lot of them, so there wasn't much of the invasion left. So I quickly tried to turn on my recording software as fast as I could and get any proof of the goblin invasion. Nothing crazy. I think eventually from this, I can get the goblin engineer. I was expecting him to spawn in just from the one. I don't know if there's some special requirement I need from these invasions to get him, but I don't have him yet. Even at the end of the session, he just doesn't spawn in, even though there's ample housing for him. So I'll have to look into that a little bit, but the spike balls that I get from these guys are actually pretty nice for some bosses. Because you can just spam them and they'll just walk over them, and it's free damage at the end of the day. So I collected as much of those as I could. The invasion was kind of a joke at this point in the game, so no big deal. I'd love to get another one, or I think you can summon one eventually, but I would love to do another one just so I could get more footage of it for you guys in a later episode. After the Goblin army was taken care of and I had successfully finished my slime rain grinding, I had plenty of resources now, so I decided to just head back to digging. I did record just a little bit for you guys so that there was no need to call into question my ability to dig a 4-block long hole all the way down to the bottom of the map. But as you see on screen here, I did have this like little spider like biome nest kind of thing that my elevator goes straight through, which was where I ended up getting the spider web grappling hook, which has been really nice. It has like 6 uses, so I can continually just tether to things like Spider-Man. So that's been a huge help for me. After I had successfully finished the elevator all the way down to the end of the world, I also ended up building a better platform in the corruption zone for Eater of Worlds and whatnot. You don't really get any footage of that until later on, but I just did a lot of that off screen, just chilling, listening to music, because it was just boring stuff that honestly made me pretty nauseous to just sit through. So I felt it would be better to just keep out of the video, since I'm sure it's not very fun to watch either. But I decided to head over to the left side of the world to Skeletron's dungeon because I wanted to take him out as fast as possible, because after I did that, I would be able to progress even further. Needing to kill him was going to help me open up his dungeon, which I could then loot. So I head over there. I end up finding the meteor, which crash landed after last episode in my world, so I tried to mine that up. I didn't know at the time, after dying about 2 times to just sitting on the meteor, that it actually burns you if you're in direct contact. I was pretty confused what kept killing me, and it wasn't until after my 2nd death and my 3rd time headed over there that I realized, oh, I probably shouldn't stand on this. So I just mined up a little bit, nothing crazy. I do end up coming back later and mining a lot more, but I just grabbed a little bit and then continued heading left side of the map towards Skeletron. With the resources I had, I decided to just craft up any boss summons that I could, since I was passing by the altars anyways. So I got a few King Slime summons, as well as a Suspicious Eyeball. At this point, I don't really need Suspicious Eyeballs or even Eater of Worlds anymore, since I'm pretty close to headed towards hard mode point in my world. So I just crafted them more for fun, kind of like DPS checks. If I get up a new loadout, I have an ability to just summon them and see what my damage is looking like. So I just quickly did those, started heading left, and then eventually I end up at Skeletron's dungeon. Upon reaching the dungeon, I just went ahead and crafted like a quick boss arena, just something to make it a little easier on myself when I actually get the chance to summon him. I came at a bad time, so I wasn't able to summon him right away. I probably could have, but I wanted the boss arena set up, so I took the time to do that instead, and it turned to daytime. So to pass the time, I decided to just try out the King Slime again, which, as you're going to see, I absolutely obliterate this guy like 3 times in a row. He had no chance against me. I finally got the technique down with the boss arena, and I was just lighting him up. I get a slime pet for the town, which is dope. I get a slime mask, a few slime guns, slime grappling hooks, and then I had the ninja armor, which was, decent, but I wasn't really using at this point, so I just threw it on for, like, vanity, just so that I looked a little bit cooler. You probably see, like, my fox ears and my fox tail, just trying to find something that makes me look more like my channel logo, my little cat. It's pretty tough though, so maybe eventually in the game I'll get the chance to get like gray ears or black ears, something like that. But this is as close as I can get at the moment. But that's beside the point. So I get into just grinding out the King Slimes, and then once it hits nighttime, I go ahead and I do summon Skeletron. he wasn't too tough. The spike balls came in pretty handy, especially for his head as it was sitting on the platform above me. So I did that. I also don't know if you guys can tell, but I do have a Abigail summon at the moment, which I got randomly. I didn't find out until later on after the session and looking into it more that Abigail is actually decently good, especially when you swap to hard mode. So I might go for the summoner route. I'm not sure what class I want to play yet, but right now I've kind of been leaning towards like mage summoner. So I got Abigail randomly off of just one tombstone next to my house. So I used her a lot throughout this session because she was just kind of some free damage, especially when I was in the underworld. She helped out a lot, just killing random mobs that were just bothering me. So she did some damage this fight as well. But Skeletron and the King Slimes were now under my belt. Finally got my revenge on the big blue guy. And I even ended up getting the Skeletron mask, which was sick. I swapped that out instead of the ears because it looks pretty cool to just have a skull on your head for the rest of the game. And then it was time to prepare for the real challenge ahead, because now I only had really one boss left that I cared about before getting into hard mode. I skipped the Queen Bee. Not really a specific reason. I was just having struggles every time I went into the jungle biome. I just wasn't doing very well over there. So I'll have to get back to her because I do want to kill every boss at least once in this world. So I'm gonna have to come back to her later on. But as far as everybody else, it was pretty simple. And I got the rest of the pre-hard mode bosses. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if the like bear shark chimera boss is pre-hard mode or not. I'll look into it, but I might have to kill that guy as well. So these two fights were pretty easy, just clean up, and then I moved into exploring Skeletron's dungeon, which you'll see how that goes. Spoiler alert, not great. So after Skeletron fell, now I could finally explore his dungeon and try to loot it to the best of my ability, without getting just one shot by him, since the curse was lifted. So I headed down there. I didn't really get much. I didn't have the keys necessary to loot a lot of these chests. I don't know how you get that, so I'll have to look into that, because I'm sure there's actually some decent stuff down here, and it'd just be nice to mark it off as being fully checked off and completed. I did, however, pick up some like water candles. I know that those could help with increasing mob spawn rates, so I picked those up because I might need it to farm certain materials from drops later on for hard mode weapons. So I picked up a few of those. I found the NPC in the dungeon as well, which was nice. I do need to go back down there actually and pick up an alchemy table now that I think of it. I think that's the only place you can get one is down there. But then I died pretty fast, not even from traps or anything, just get absolutely demolished by mobs. They weren't even necessarily hard mobs. I just wasn't paying attention and wasn't playing it safe, so I got booted back to spawn, but I figured I'll just come back later. And now it was time to head to the absolute peak of our playthrough so far, which was trying to kill the wall of flesh. Now, the Wall of Flesh, for those who don't play Terraria or haven't played it, is the final boss before your world will end up swapping over to hard mode. Now, hard mode meaning you get better gear because you can then bless your world with more ores, more endgame ores. There's more mobs that spawn, different mobs, new mobs, and there's old mobs that now have more challenging forms that just spawn all throughout your world. Your corruption and whatnot will start to spread. You'll get new biomes that get summoned into your world, and then it opens up new bosses. So this is like the Wall of Flesh is literally the last wall, the last hurdle when your world changes from easy mode to hard mode, and then you really get into the end game. So this was big. This was a big goal of mine. I wasn't necessarily in a great spot. I was trying to watch videos as best I could to figure out how to fight this guy. I ended up setting up my bridge across the entire biome really badly, because I gave myself no chance to dodge or jump or anything in a lot of the sections. So as you see, I just ended up dying a ton. It wasn't until a few deaths in and a lot of grinding out demons just AFK down here, which I didn't record a lot of, because I needed the dolls to summon him. I could just build houses and let the guide move in, but I tried that, and he was just taking forever to get down there, and I had to keep logging in and out, and I just wasn't enjoying it, so I just did a lot of AFKing down here to grind it out. But it wasn't until after like the second or third death, I believe, that I moved my bridge down way more so that I could actually jump and dodge. I even ended up selling a bunch of random stuff to buy a mini shark. Mini shark being a gun that just fires super fast and super straight, because the arrows weren't cutting it out for me because they were hard to aim. So I just did the mini shark. I got him low a lot. I'm sure you guys have noticed in a lot of my videos things get cut off because of my monitor's like aspect ratio, so you can't see the health. I'll have to figure out a way to fix that, maybe just invest in a new monitor. But I got him low a few times and I kept dying, so I was tilted. It was a long night of me just trying to grind out this wall of flesh, and I almost didn't even continue going for it. It wasn't until building this bridge and after the first attempt on this new bridge that I noticed in my inventory I actually had a demon scythe, and a demon scythe is a really good like mage weapon, especially like this early, and I actually had two of them. I killed the wall of flesh with like a pretty normal one, and then I noticed after I killed the wall of flesh here, as you're seeing now, that I actually got like a way better version of the demon scythe as well. So I kind of lean more towards the mage class as we swap over to hard mode, because I had like a decent setup for it. But I do kill the wall of flesh. I get the warrior drop, which is Guts' sword from Berserk pretty much, which is fire. I mean, it just looks amazing, and as a big anime fan, even though it wasn't a weapon I was like gonna build myself around, I don't really like the melee class in Terraria. I just don't like that combat style. I was still going to use it here and there, and you know, it was just sick to have around, so I might have to put it up on a wall in my base or something because it just looks cool. And now I have the hammer. So the hammer is like a 100% guaranteed drop on Wall of Flesh, so I got that, and now I could bless my world with hard mode. So after I killed the wall of flesh, you can see this box summons with all of the loot, like I was talking about, but you can also kind of notice these different mobs that just start popping out. They look a lot like the mobs that we've encountered throughout this playthrough, but you can see they're kind of more animated, a little bit bigger, a little more creepy looking, and these are the hard mode mobs that are harder to kill. They have a lot more health, they do a lot more, so I got to experience those pretty quickly after killing the wall of flesh. And then I decided to end off the session by blessing my world with hardcore ores. So I quickly recall the base after picking up all my loot, and I head to the left. I also take a minute to farm up all of the meteorite that I'm going to need for my new build. Since I told you guys I got the scythe, I wanted to lean more towards a mage build. So the meteor armor was actually pretty good for that. I could also get the laser gun, and the laser gun with a full set of meteor armor made the laser gun cost no mana to use. So I could spam demon scythe, use on my mana, swap over to the gun, wait for mana to replenish, and I'm doing extra magic damage because of the armor set bonus. So that was my plan, so I mine up a bunch of the meteorite. I leave some there because I didn't need a crazy amount. I even get enough to make myself like a ham axe, which is, you know, pretty good. It has 100% axe power, so it's going to help me clean up things around my world and hopefully terraform a little better, and just grind up the wood, because I want to really work on the house in the next few episodes as well, because it's looking a little rough. It's looking a little kind of just baseline blocky, kind of just there for the NPCs, but not something that's really cool to be inside of and be around. So I'm going to work on that a little bit in the next few episodes for sure. So you can see I make up my set of armor right now, and then like I was saying earlier, since I don't really need these boss summons like the Eye of Cthulhu and whatnot, I just use it to test out my new gear now that I have it, my new demon scythe, meteorite armor, my laser gun, etc. And this guy's just gets absolutely mowed down. The demon scythe's a little hard to hit on, you know, faster moving targets, so that's something I'll have to get used to. But yeah, I was just obliterating this guy, especially with Abigail right there as well. So the setup's looking pretty good thus far, which is pretty cool. And then I take a minute to head over and bless the world, As you'll see, I'll run over to the altars, I'll break them, it'll tell me, you know, your world's been blessed with corium or adamantite, I believe is one of them. And there was only like 3 or 4 ores that were popping up, and I just kept breaking altars since I had plenty, and I would just keep getting the same ore. So I don't know if the more I break, the more ore it's just putting into my world, or if I'm just wasting altars. So that's something I'll have to research as well before the next playthrough or the next play session. But now the world was blessed with ores, so now we can really go mining and find a lot of ore and really start to upgrade our gear exponentially and get pretty strong, because after, you know, I blessed my world with these ores, I recorded a little bit of me like headed over to the jungle biome just to see what the mobs were looking like, if there was any new mobs, and there were plenty, and they hurt. They were fast moving, they're just huge mobs, like this weird bug one, these spinning turtles, new fish that instead of piranhas it's like alligator fish, like alligator gars that just blow you up. So it's more dangerous to explore the world right now, but it's enjoyable. It's fun to have a little bit more of a challenge, something to keep you on your toes as you're exploring the world. So now we have plenty of things to do, new biomes, new bosses, new materials to get. So there's a lot to look forward to in the next few episodes, but this episode we definitely crushed it in terms of progression. With last episode and now this episode, we've quickly gone from, you know, the wooden armor that we were struggling with at the start, and, you know, we were struggling for tungsten ore because we really only had like lead and tin, and so our materials were looking bad, our armor was bad, our weapons were few, and now in the last 2 episodes we've really bumped it up pretty fast. We've been burning through the bosses, even though granted it's been a struggle on some of them. But we've been getting our revenge. We're figuring out, we're putting our, you know, our foot to the pedal, and we're just grinding it out. You know, we're not getting discouraged, all granted a little tilted. We're not getting discouraged completely, and we're continuing to just push through the adversity, and now we're at the point in the game where things should get pretty interesting. This is the point where a lot of this is brand new to me. Like, not much of this I have any understanding of at all, so it should be pretty fun to learn and play through. But if you guys enjoyed this video, like I said, it's been rough, I've been sick. If you watched the last video that I posted yesterday or the day before, it's been hard, so recording these, talking, it's a challenge, but I really want to get these videos out to you guys because I enjoy making content for you, and I enjoy, you know, hearing your feedback and seeing the support. So I don't want to just leave you high and dry, but the quality is going to be, you know, it's going to get hurt a little bit as I try to clear up this illness that I have. So I apologize for sounding super sick and sounding super uninterested. I promise I'm super excited to be here. It's no different from this video than it was for the first. It's still a blast to create these videos, play these games. So if it sounds any different, I apologize. But, you know, like I said, hopefully this will clear up soon, and then it's right back to grinding out the best quality videos that I can for you all. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, comment any suggestions or tips, or just anything at all. Just let me know if you enjoyed the video, if you didn't, what I can do better, what I did great, etc. Be sure to subscribe so that you get notified with all the new uploads. I'm trying to upload daily. It's a little rough right now, but definitely the goal is at least daily for a few months, just to start getting my name out there more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm excited. We have some good content ideas coming out for you guys over the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. But as always, take care of yourself, take care of one another, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.